welcome back, all you tanks, healers, and damage dealers. Still Succulent slash Ocean here to bring you the third of 5 games here tonight at the EGFC. It's going to be the University of Tennessee up against Wichita State University. Wichita, I know a little bit more about. I've had the opportunity to kind of talk to their players a little bit more. Fluffy but deadly, their main tank player, also their captain this year. Not sure if he got promoted. If he did, man, I'm happy if you were already captain. Sorry, I didn't know that. University of Tennessee, of course, the first time when they made their EGFC debut, they took us all the way to map 6, maybe even map 7. We went the distance. So I know that this team, they are ready to put their money where their mouth is.
It's going to be interesting. Too bad we can't have a 10 map. Oh, it's fine. So we can make the check, right? You know, just for reference, I cannot say which WSU name, WSU's name. So we're just gonna go with WSU for the rest of the season. I'm the resident Brit of EGF, so you know what, we're gonna have to go with that. Tennessee, I can at least say that this could be an interesting series, because both of these teams we imagine will be quite close. Both of these teams have pretty strong esports programs, which usually means this game is gonna be a tight one.
Yeah, sorry, I really respect that you tried to say it. I really do, yeah. We were cracking jokes before the broadcast. Ocean cannot say Wichita, so he will refer to WSU as WSU for the rest of this series. We're looking at the exact same map pool: Busan, Eichenwald, Hanamura, Junkertown, Oasis, but we're going to be jumping into Busan first. It's going to be Wichita State University up against Tennessee, and Fluffy currently on the Bastion. I really thought he was a tank player. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe he's a DPS player. Maybe he swapped over. Who knows?
Yeah, I see DPS on the sheet. Tennessee rocking an interesting comp so far. I wonder if they'll go Zarya. What they've got kind of right now is a hybrid of double bubble.
Yeah.
But also a hybrid of the bowl comp. It is going to be double bubble, yeah. So it's going to be a pure double bubble comp. They've got a Tracer and a Winston kind of as their front line. The Brigitte is going to be paired up with their Ana and their Zarya. They're going to be trying to rotate in and get value out of the Ana and build up nano boost. And of course, Echo is just going to be Echo trying to play from mid-range.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting because the Echo, like you said, can play from mid to long range, and Tracer nor Sombra can do anything about that. They are both up close, hit scan DPS. Sombra does 6 damage a headshot, so you can imagine how much he's doing with fall off at an Echo high in the sky. Now, Monkey Ball does find that first kill onto Lucky Dog. The double bubble, the bubble part, gone. Zarya offline. We're going to see an elimination onto player there. Noodles does pick up that kill, but Basher immediately traded out by Fluffy here. So a lot of back and forth, but Wichita, they've got the numbers advantage. It looks like they've got the cap advantage as well, and now they're keeping things rolling. University of Tennessee not quite able to find that first cap.
Not to say the Zarya can't work here, but I'm extremely worried about the Zarya getting isolated, just like Hombe has been here at the back, but I think it's not going to be too much of an issue. The Zarya's going to get isolated a lot by the Tracer, the Sombra, essentially everything. Lucky Dog is not going to have a fun time. It can work, but it's extremely difficult. I think Tennessee would have a lot better time if they switched over to the Diva. Wichita State, got it right. Let's go. They're gonna have an EMP up shortly, 50% already, and a post bomb as well. Their DPS is what to watch out for. Wichita, of course, actually running a composition that Shanghai ran the entirety of Overwatch League playoffs is Sombra, Tracer, Bold, Diva, Zen, Brig. I like this composition a lot.
I want to say I pulled up his Twitter. I pulled up Fluffy's Twitter because we follow each other. It says main tank Ryan specialist. I knew he was a main tank player. I'm not crazy, but right now he is rocking on that Sombra. Get EMP perhaps as fast as we would like. We want to see EMP coming out a little bit faster, but again, he's really been finding the kills, and that's what matters. Player as well, making it hard to farm an EMP when nobody's alive to be farmed. I mean, it's going to be really difficult. We see 3 kills already in favor of the Tennessee. Doge Fighter, I believe, is a new player for Tennessee. I don't think I've ever said that name before, so we're going to see him making an appearance, a triple kill in the Primal, but doesn't quite make it out. However, a 3-for-1 trade, definitely a good thing.
Lucky Dog's really struggling here, 50%, and we're about, what, minute and a half at least into Busan Downtown. They can't get any value here, and it's not because they're bad or struggling, it's just because the composition they're against. Zarya is really easily isolated no matter how many heroes you've got protecting you, and realistically the off-tank should be protecting the supports in this composition.
Yeah, absolutely. The supports are usually crucial in any composition, truly. I mean, it's difficult. You need to be keeping them alive. If you don't have your supports in a game like Overwatch, you really can't play the game, especially they're running the Brig Zen. We talked about this earlier. Statistically, the lowest healing available that a comp can give. Hambe has to pop that Transcendence on the side of Wichita. The EMP comes out from Fluffy as well, so going to have 4 of them get hit. Doge Fighter falls once again. Monkey Ball picks up that kill. Here comes a bomb from Dahubs 901, finding Fluffy, so that 2-for-1 trade comes through. Wichita, they lose the point, and we've got 10% and probably growing here in favor of Tennessee.
should win this fight, but TW wants to bring this back. However, Dogefighter's in the backline on the other side of things as well. So both teams have wrecking balls in each other's backline. So which team will deal a bit better though?
It's going to be that slow burn TW. I mean, that's got to be, what, 20 health, maybe? Like, very, very low. Getting healed back up slowly but surely. Monkey Ball slept in the back line, only 4% short of that Diva Bomb, which will make an appearance here in just a moment. I'm almost sure of it. It's going to be Wichita State looking incredibly good at the start of things. They're up 99-28. They need one real kill to turn this fight in their favor. Here comes a bomb, and it looks like it's going to be able to pick up the main support in the form of Paramir here. The Ana falls, a double kill, however, for the University of Tennessee. Gets traded out once again. Noodles on the brig goes down to Hubs, falls to Hanbei, and there it is. Nobody able to touch. Great back-to-back action in favor of the university, or excuse me, in favor of Wichita State University, looking very good at the start of Busan.
Both these teams have a lot of potential. I think that realistically, Wichita walks up. Oh, you see me hesitate there. Wichita walked out on the better compositional matchup, not necessarily the better composition, just a better matchup. Per se here. This is going to be interesting because Tennessee, right, they're going to run a very, very standard brawl composition, just kind of like the standard 6 brawl heroes that you see. Not a very, very strong brawl. Map and Wichita are going to match that. I think we're going to see Homebay switch shortly over to the Baptiste. Might actually try the Moira if they want to play a little bit faster. We'll wait and see.
Yeah, absolutely. We're just going to have to wait and see kind of what comes of this. Wichita State, they're running that Ryan Diva. We see the exact opposite from the University of Tennessee. I mean, oh wait, we've got a full-blown mirror matchup. What am I even talking about?
Yeah.
And it's ending in favor of Tennessee there, but Dogefighter falls, losing the main tank. Much more crucial than losing one of your DPS. Not exactly what you want to happen. So early in the beginning of a fight, a great May wall from the Hubs, but they're not able to capitalize off the back of it. And now TW 75% to an Earth Shatter already. Just ripping Tennessee apart there.
I have not cast a good brawl mirror matchup in a while, so kind of talk about some brawl intricacies. Right, so how can you get more value out of your DPS? Well, you can set your DPS up on all flankers, potentially with the Diva or a Lucio to kind of escort them around, and that allows the Reinhardt and the Diva of the other team to get pulled away from each other, and sometimes that allows your Mei and your own Reinhardt to get an extreme amount of value. So it'll be interesting to see what angles these DPS to players kind of take.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to see the angles, kind of what's being brought to the table here from University of Tennessee. Basher finds Hanbei. That's huge. You got rid of the Ant Matrix. It's already up, but you got rid of the one who's kind of utilizing the Immortality Field off the table now as well. University of Tennessee, though, they're playing really slow. Now they're up by 2, but they're waiting a really long time to engage. They're going to push in. There goes TW, and yeah, UTK's got this one in the back.
So far, we've seen both of the mid supports play a lot of heroes. Both of the Lucios look pretty even on charge. Why I bring those up. Both of them look pretty comfortable and break. I mean, obviously, I think Trashland, she looks a little bit better because Wichita actually took that line. But I think both these main supports look really comfortable. So the tempo, we could expect both of these teams to kind of have an even amount of tempo, but it really matters now because TW has the Earth Shatter.
Yeah, that Earth Shatter is not going to be able to do much quite yet. The Earth Shatter on both sides is awake, but TW is going to fall before they can use it. However, Wichita, they're going to be able to not only win in terms of numbers, but completely block out Dogefighter's ultimate as well. So very good progress here. This is going to be Wichita State. They've got the numbers advantage, and Hanbei just diving in against the Reinhardt. They're able to find the kill with the help of Monkey Ball. Wichita State flips it back just before losing that percent advantage.
Yeah, credit to Trasherland, right? They needed to play at a fast pace to win that team fight. They wanted to set up the Earth Shatter, but it ended up actually setting up the Blizzard. So Blizzard as an ultimate is best when the fight goes really fast or really slow. And when TW died, that just sort of happened. I don't think that was the plan. I think the plan was to go for an Earth Shatter, but it worked out perfectly. So good pacing from the mid supporting Wichita.
Fluffy making a bit of a mistake there. High nooning and then immediately dropping down the stairs. Basher might have a little bit more success, but unfortunately not going to see anything coming out quite yet. To Hubs finds Hanbei. The pressure coming out once again. TW 75 HP. Wichita is going to be able to lose that main tank. Basher finds the kill, but we've seen them turn these fights around before. The Hubs goes down. Fluffy but Deadly, the next to fall. Currently a 5v4 in favor of the University of Tennessee. It's going to be a lot of back and forth here. I think TW shattered right before falling, so no Earth Shatter available. Doge has one of their own, and a double fire strike there is just going to put Wichita down.
Yeah, so Tennessee, back is definitely really good for Tennessee because, right, now Wichita have to go for this choke, and they don't really have any ultimates to do it, right? So last time they had the Shatter, they had the Blizzard, right? No matter what tempo they play, they don't have really anything to set up, and Tennessee have a lot more to work with, plus a choke.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Doge just hit, what was that, 5? Everybody but the Reinhardt, and the fight's already won. Monkey Ball picks up Noodles there with the bomb, but now it's going to be Basher finding DeHubs finding some... Well, just a lot of back and forth. There's some great value, but Tennessee, I think they're going to get around 85%, so both these schools putting themselves into last fight scenario.
Oh, you know what? Wichita are building up to one of the best win conditions this Brawl v Brawl matchup has. They're going to build up to a Deadeye. They're going to use a Deadeye to initiate and slow down the fight. So it's going to go fast, then slow, and then it's Blizzard time.
Yeah, the Blizzard's going to be a huge difference here, but Player not going to get to use theirs as Doge Fighter pins them there, takes that Mei offline, and that might be the win condition here for the University of Tennessee. That's going to be a great starter. Mei is gone. Wichita State, they're going to have to win a 5v6. Trasher Lin, she falls as well. Hanbei is gone. Yeah, Tennessee's got this one in the bag. I'm not sure there's anything that Wichita can do to turn this fight around.
I think that round was over when Player died. Oh, nice eat as well, just to compound the misery. This is going to be a tight game like we suspected. Brawl v Brawl, both these teams look very even. I suspect we'll see that in further mirror matchups. I think Wichita might be better on like Zen break compositions just because they were more confident on it. On Downtown, they actually just brought it out, whereas Tennessee tried double bubble. So maybe those two compositions will be favored for either side. But both these teams are pretty confident, especially in their Brawl matchups. So this is going to be quite exciting.
Yeah, I want to see, I feel like we're going to see a lot less Reinhardt here. We talked about this earlier, way back at the beginning of that first set, but we talked about how Ryan really doesn't work well because you have to hold up your shield to get forward, but to get forward, you need to lose your shield, and then Ryan's use the rest of the team without the shield. So it's a lot of kind of not using Reinhardt. However, we've got almost a mirror matchup here. The only difference is going to be an Echo v Sombra. Fluffy was taking a long time to really get those EMPs earlier, so maybe a swap off later, but now it's going to be Sombra v Echo still, both Sims swapping Tracer. So this is really going to come down to that matchup of who's finding more value, the Sombra or the Echo.
It'll be the Sombra, right, because of the EMP and just the ability that Hack is, right, you know. The chance killer's gone though, so not many options here for Fluffy.
Yeah. Can't really get out. I mean, they're able to stay invisible, and Hack, of course, is going to be changed up in Overwatch 2. It'll only last seconds, so it's going to be a much less impactful ability. But in Overwatch 1, of course, the game we're hanging out with right now, I do believe the strongest single ability in the game. It completely shuts down anything. I'm not including ultimates, but even if I was, EMP, I think is the strongest ultimate in the game, so really not that far from individual Hack. However, Fluffy did make a pretty large impact there, enough to force the Hubs onto a Sombra of their own.
Yeah, I think the Sombra is the better pick. Why you usually do see Sombra Tracer nowadays with this Bold Diva composition, like maybe like a year or so ago, maybe not that old, but at the start of the year we would have saw Echo in these compositions just because Echo was better, but Sombra is just such a good hero right now. It's in such a good place, and the host was kind of forced into that change.
Absolutely. And yeah, that's going to be interesting because if the Hubs has been forced into the change, we can go back proactive versus reactive. The Hubs playing a little bit reactively, forced into the change. Now they have to play in the tempo that Wichita has created. Hanbei goes for a very early Transcendence. In full disclosure, I'm not sure why, but you know, if it works, it works. We see that they're definitely in the lead by about 40% here. A lot of damage onto Fluffy. They get out of there. EMP is ready. Doge, 83 HP, will not make it out. TW able to find that kill at the very same moment. The player is traded out by Basher. A 5v5, and I can only guess that EMP is going to make an appearance. Harvey loses the entirety of that health bar, will be the first to go. Hanbei traded out, Trasher with she down, she falls. Well, you'd think the Hubs EMP'd. By the way, this fight is ending. Noodles taken offline by Fluffy. Deadly Lucky Dog picking up TW as well. And somehow, by the skin of their teeth, University of Tennessee wins that fight.
Portland is setting tempo extremely well and getting really good discorders, but I feel like the Tennessee one is a little bit more confident. I don't know why, I just have a feeling that they're a little bit more confident here. This is going to be interesting. Harvier goes down, so maybe that Civic can be taken away as now that Zenyatta, that pivotal part of this competition, is gone.
Absolutely, Lucky Dog finds Hanbei. I mean, there was no Transcendence in sight, but that healing completely down the drain. The minefield now from TW picks up Noodles. One support down on both sides. The mech is going to be lost from Lucky Dog player. Looking for some value here. I really want to see this next pulse bomb be a big one from either side because I feel like that's the most, I would say, consistent ult. Anybody but a tank, it's an instant kill if it sticks. So I want to see what comes through. Trasher Lynch gets caught out in that corner there. Basher going to be falling at the exact same moment. Transcendence comes out quick from Harvey if you're trying to keep the team alive. And honestly, I love it because if they win the fight, University of Tennessee will take the lead in terms of numbers.
I think Hanbei would have made that Transcendence. I think they would have backed out and said it was a lost fight, but part of it did make that play. That's why I think, that's why the support line in Tennessee seems a little bit more confident, but I think Wichita's team overall has better coordination, slightly better mechanics, and just a slightly better understanding of the comp. That's why they went Bold Eve at the start, and why we saw Tennessee go with the double bubble at the start of this series.
Absolutely. The double bubble was unique, and like I said earlier, I think double bubble is one of the hardest team comps to utilize and work really well with. The team knows it well. I wanted to see a huge pulse bomb, and Monkey Ball actually ate one instead. It then jumps into a 5-man EMP from the Hubs. TW, the only one to go down there in that engagement, player the next to fall. University of Tennessee, they may walk away with a Busan victory here. Looks very close, currently a 4v6. Wichita making the right play though. They're getting out as fast as they can so they can re-engage at whatever speed they need to.
They've got the EMP on the rally as well. This is really winnable for Wichita if they can get an engagement.
Oh man, Dogefighter taking a lot of damage there, almost goes down. If Hanbei falls here, it's going to be over for Wichita. And there it goes, the stick onto Dogefighter, not going to be enough. 122 HP. It's going to be enough. Paravir, though, also goes down. Lucky Dog losing that mech. This is a now or never moment in a 2-man EMP. They have been the thing to kick in the door. Wichita, they turn this point around. A 3-kill coming through. They've got 65%. They cannot afford to make even a single mistake, or they will have to kiss Busan goodbye with a 2-1 loss.
I think a lot of people would criticize that sort of EMP, but honestly, right, they didn't know that they were going to win the fight there. I think that EMP actually shows that Fluffy really wants to win this game and doesn't want to let this map be kissed goodbye. So it's trying to set up. They have that minefield, and Hanbei doesn't have a Transcendence to respond with, so they could catch out this Inyana.
To be fair, I love that EMP because either you lose it, you use it and win the fight, or you lose and never get to use it, right? So it's like you might as well. Using it there, I really think, is what turned that fight around, really negating all abilities that were available. Dogefighter picks up TW, but it's going to be a 2-for-2 trade as Doge and Noodles also go down. The bombs do pick up Fluffy. Transcendence has to be forced out by Hanbei. You're trying to keep this team alive for as long as possible. Rasherlin picks up a kill onto Lucky Dog. Hanbei finds Basher, and my goodness, Ocean, I think you hit the nail right on the head. Wichita State, I think they just barely by the skin of their teeth are going to walk away with the Busan victory. Hanbei kicking it up into just 100%, 110% even. Wichita State, they just barely walk away with Busan. That is the Wichita I remember. What a way to turn that map around.
I think both these teams are quite good. I think the brawler map is quite close. I think they both have a really good base level understanding of all these compositions, right? I don't think they've got a really deep understanding of how to get them maximize the value of each hero. Yeah, right. But we might see that at the end of the season, right? We didn't see players taking off angles to maximize their damage and roll, or actually disrupt the opposing team in brawl. We didn't see Wichita get their Zenyatta into enough space. I think that's because their backline just doesn't seem as confident. That's one of Tennessee's advantages in that Zen Brig Ball matchup. I think that can help them later on. We'll see if it does. But honestly, Wichita really impressed me. They play Brawl to a pretty high standard. They play Zen Brig Ball to a very high standard. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that from Wichita. Let's see what they can do in the rest of the series.
Sorry, there's a very tiny ladybug on my webcam right now, and I'm just a little bit distracted. But I think you've made a great point there. Wichita, they really were able to win just by the end of it. I like what you said a lot as well. UTK, they definitely strike me as a team that is good, right? But to win the EGFC, you need to be a team that is great. And I think this team has very clearly shown us they have that potential, right? They have got some great improvements, some great progress, and they're going to get a little while here as we're going to take a slightly longer break before we jump into this next map. We're going to see kind of what's going on with these teams. They're going to get to talk about team comps and resolutions moving into Eichenwald, but we'll be right back with... Oh, just kidding. Predictions telling me that we're not taking that break yet. I misunderstood. Either way, it's going to be... whatever, they've got time now between maps. They're going to talk about Eichenwald. It's not a King of the Hill map. They're going to have to play perhaps different team comps. I think we're going to see Reinhardt. That feels kind of consistent. Maybe that Echo, once again, I think has made a really positive impact. But Eichenwald now, I think... Ocean, what do you want to see from these teams here on Eich?
I actually don't know what we're going to see. I mean, just based on what was played on Mecha base, you might see a Brawl versus Brawl matchup. I hope we don't, because I don't think Brawl's great on Eichenwald past point A and maybe a little bit of point C. I think I prefer spammier comps. I would love to see Wrecking Ball Sigma, so a variation of this Ball Diva composition with Zenbrig that we've been seeing. It's still a bit more spam flavored, and I think there's a lot of spam that happens on Eichenwald, so I think I would prefer that. Honestly, if both teams kept going with what they were going, I like to see mirror matchups. I wouldn't be surprised if Tennessee tried double bubble. I'm not sure if it would work if we do see Summer Trace or Wrecking Ball from Wichita. Additionally, there's other options, right? You can play Tor, you can play Far, which we are both seeing, right? We're seeing both of those heroes on screen at the moment. I don't know what they'll be playing, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're completely right. You've hit the nail right on the head. We're seeing that Torbjorn, we're seeing that Pharah, and last time we saw this, I said, you know, oh, I really don't expect the Pharah to stick around because of the Torb turret, and then the team that was running the Pharah actually ended up dealing with the Torbjorn rather well. It was actually Unique who was on the Pharah. They did lose the map at the end of the day, but the Torbjorn I didn't feel was why, especially because we saw the swap off the Torbjorn pretty much immediately after.
Hello.
I want to see, I don't know, DeHubs, I feel like wasn't playing characters I would often associate with a pocket Torbjorn. You know what I mean?
Yeah, not really, no. Tennessee here on the defense running full spam, so a fully spam-based composition. Of course, spam is a very good composition here. Double shield, send back for maximum damage. Torbjorn and the card base can be quite difficult. Fluffy's gonna find it hard to get value out of this far, but I think with the rest of the composition, if they need to swap it up, they can.
Yeah. Absolutely. Basher going to be back on that Cowboy. I think the first one we've seen in this series, an immediate DMAC onto Monkey Ball there is going to make this a little difficult, but TW right in the back line there, able to find some great value, gets rid of that Cowboy, sends him right back to the Wild Wild West. Fluffy now going for a little bit of damage up above, especially that's great because the Cowboy has disappeared. You can get a lot of damage in here and there. You don't have an exact opponent. Nobody's putting the same amount of pressure down on top of you. Parvir, though, does take out Player, who's now on the Sombra. So a little bit of a swap between Fee and Player. Parvir, I've got to say, I feel like every game we've got that one bloodthirsty support, and it seems to be Parvir this time around.
I think Parvir is a player who is extremely confident in their Zenyatta and wants to go for it, wants to take these aggressive angles that allows him to get better discourse. I think that's one of Tennessee's advantages in this series, and I think they need to use that. I think their support line is more confident, and I think that can help them in this series. I think that's going to be one of their tools to victory if they do win this series.
Yeah, and I...
Uh-oh.
Okay, yeah, not a great sign. Not fantastic. But I do want to say, you talked about kind of a confident Zenyatta. Personally, kind of a caster thought here. People might disagree. I think Zenyatta is one of, if not the hardest hero to play at a high level of competitive play. I think playing a Zenyatta well is easy to do, but playing a Zenyatta at a collegiate, at a contender's level, is a whole new game. And I think Parvir is showing that level of competent, high-tier Zenyatta gameplay.
Zen comps, yeah? And I wouldn't say many Zen, but like actual Zen comps are really nice.
Yeah, sure. Oh, this is going to be a very aggressive Molten Core as well as a barrage coming out from Fluffy, so kind of in tandem with one another. The Bongo getting played by this Orisa here, that Supercharger going to be dropped. And it looks like it's really putting in the work. They're able to find 2 eliminations in favor of Wichita, excuse me, in favor of University of Tennessee. This is looking good. They've already burned 2 minutes and 15 seconds left. Wichita, they've hardly even touched the point, if I'm not mistaken.
Cool. So Pharah hasn't worked for any of the teams we've seen on offense active mode tonight, right? And Pharah, to be fair, in theory, is really good against spam because Pharah has a lot of time to maneuver around the map and spam it herself, right, and play at a distance. It's just there's something about icon mode. It doesn't even have the cover. Even though on paper it should work, it just isn't working. I think it needs to change up.
Yeah, I agree, especially as Fluffy's taken offline there once again. You've got 74 seconds left on the clock. Resurrection does come through, so not the end of the war. Maybe if Fluffy wants to go for that, like when I was called the gold rotation of going around the right side over that death pit, but as I say it, Hanbei has decided that they want to play the game instead, so Hanbei's just going to storm in, get hyper-aggressive, get focused out by Doge Fighter there in the clock tower, and unfortunately they will lose the life, but I think they did enough. They did enough, right? They found 3 kills. That's going to be currently a 5v3 in favor of Wichita. DeHubs is going to get taken out by Player, who's then taken out in turn by Monkey Ball, picking up a 2nd kill onto Doge. Wichita State, they may have had the opportunity to do it. Actually, a huge Gravitic Flex does come through, but Lucky Dog, they pay the price of their life to land it, and they certainly will. No kills. Instead, Lucky Dog gets killed. Not so lucky today. Basher falls. Parvir finding Fluffy, but Deadly Noodles the next to go. Parvir is taken offline, and Wichita has done it. 3 minutes on the clock.
I like that Zen switch. I think both these teams are probably more comfortable with the Zen. Contrary to what I would kind of believe, Hanbei got quite aggressive there on the Zen. Not what we've typically seen from them so far this series. That was also a really cool adjustment. I think they needed that because honestly, Fluffy's struggling to get value as far. They're not getting a lot of damage, and Monkey Ball was able to get Hanbei into the fight, which is awesome. We haven't actually seen Monkey Ball do too well on this map so far, getting their switch into the fight and getting everyone involved, because it's really only been TW, Player, and Fluffy trying to get damage done. But now it's absolutely everyone. And I think that's awesome. I think that Zen pick is kind of what they needed, and I think they might even want to get off the floor pick after the barrage.
Oh, wow! Okay, so Doge Fighter doing exactly what they're supposed to there. You do the same thing with a Doomfist or a Wrecking Ball. When they pile drive or seismic slam in, you use your pull on the ground so they can't get back out, and that worked flawlessly there
for Doge Fighter. Just a phenomenal job. Now finding 2, make it 3 kills if we include the Wrecking Ball. This is looking really good. I agree. Honestly, use the Barrage or just swap, because the Barrage hasn't been as successful as we'd want, and you could charge another ultimate. You've got time to farm a new one.
Payload's on its way.
Oh, I get tight. But oh, you're gonna get a good barrage here. Yes, everyone's gonna be clumped up, but Immortality Field's there, Transcendence is there. I just don't see how your barrage is good here.
And it gets a whopping 0 eliminations right on that one. They do find Doge Fighter and the Bongo off the back of it, so it's not a huge loss, but with an ultimate like that, you want to be getting 2, 3 eliminations. Even 1 with the actual barrage would have been huge, but now it's going to be TW going back in, and a Transcendence from Harvey here. I'm honestly not sure why, but if it helps them win the fight, the more the merrier. Now, however, player gets an EMP completely for free. We're going to see what comes off this. TW finding 2 kills, and EMP no longer needed. Doge Fighter finds Hanbei. It is going to kill after kill here in favor of Wichita. Doge Fighter and Lucky just cannot do enough.
Seem to win fights when they absolutely have to, right? They won the critical fight on point A that allowed them to keep going, and they have an AMP now for when Tennessee walk out on point B, which they are going to do.
Oh, that's going to be a huge EMP there. Able to find 3 Noodles. Hardly gets to blink. Already taken offline. 4 gone. Distributing Flux. No matter how well it does, if it's not picking up 6, it's not going to do what it needed to turn this fight back around. Monkey back, however, Lucky Dog does fall. Doge Fighter, the next to go. It's going to be a lot of great value in favor of Wichita. Just under 2 minutes to cap this 3rd point.
And now it's even harder to get value to the forward, right? Because there's no natural cover in the air, and there's nowhere for the forward to play, right? Really? This is difficult for Fluffy to get value. I mean, it seems to be good enough so far. Player already 50% to another EMP. They're going to have a minefield as well. Home base seems to have not necessarily woken up, but maybe been reawakened in this map. They definitely playing a lot more aggressive. We've seen a lot better plays from Home Bay here on map 2.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to have to see some aggression a little bit more, perhaps, from the support line of the University of Tennessee if they want to find the value that Hanbei has seemingly been able to find. It's interesting because Hanbei almost gets to do so much damage that Trasherlin gets to focus entirely on healing, right? She gets to hide in the back line a little bit, get the healing when it's needed most, and it's been working out really well. Monkey Ball, that was an ultimate. That was a Diva Bomb. Most likely just to get back in back, had I to guess. But maybe they were hoping it would drop off the top a little bit. A Barrage comes through, picks apart here, finds the Immortality Field as well. And Wichita State, they have cleaned this fight up. DeHubs is left. Doge Fighter is going to be taken offline. DeHubs can maybe stall for a couple of seconds, but realistically, you're looking at a 6v2 stagger. I think it's maybe Wichita's to take. 37 seconds left. It only took them about 90 seconds, which is very impressive.
Hey, to be fair, I think he got a lot of value on the last point where they were able to spam comfortably. They weren't really threatened. Awesome. Right, so they did get value to the far in the end. I mean, realistically, should they have stayed on the entire map? Probably not. But you know what? They got value at the end. They captured the map. That's all that really matters right now. Something I want to highlight on Wichita as well is Trasherlin, the main support player, has played all 3 of the main supports so far. Has played Brigitte, has played Lucio, and has played Mercy.
Oh, yeah, check that out. How entertaining. Yeah, so Trasherlin showing a very wide variety of talent, just realistically, as that is. Going to be a great job so far. Wichita State able to, they have shown us that they aren't a one-trick pony, so to speak. They have brought a lot of team comps to the table already, and the further we get into the season, the further we get into the year, I almost expect to see even more.
Well, just having a main support who could play all 3 comps, all 3 mid supports, gives you a wide variety of comps to choose from.
Right,
and it looks like they're gonna run some sort of spam here. Ash and Honzo tells me that they're gonna run Break. They are. Ash, maybe, like if you run like Ash Echo, you run Mercy, but yeah, okay, they're gonna run Mercy anyway. That's fine. You got a lot of poke damage here, so the Mercy is still getting value. I feel like with Honzo, you usually run the Break just to help defend your Sigma and your BAP as well. And if you run like Echo, Mercy's a little bit better, but this is fine. This is a really high damage poke composition. So Tennessee, they've got the work cut out for them. If Wichita stay far away from this brawl composition, do a little spam, the Tennessee are trouble. If Tennessee can get up close and personal, they'll be loving it with their brawl comp.
Yeah, absolutely. So now we're going to see, well, Wichita, they are playing that slightly longer distance team comp, and that's going to make it almost hard for them to engage against Tennessee, because UTK, they just get to roll in here. Doge Fighter not letting go a left click. able to find Monkey Ball already. The Sigma gone, currently a 6v5. We're going to have to see these DPS really step it up for just a moment. They've got to find 1, maybe 2, 3 eliminations to really put the bow on top. Of the tank line for WSU is down the drain. Blink and you missing Vaughn to Hubs, finding Fluffy, and my goodness, 6 minutes on the clock right now.
Concerned how Monkey Ball got isolated there, but playing a Sigma there, and they kind of had to make that rotation early, right? To kind of be like, okay, hey, let's beat the brawl here. The problem is, you get isolated by the May one, it just isn't great. I can't understand how they got isolated, but it's not good grit that they did, and we kind of have to analyze that. Which talk gonna go for something similar. They're just gonna match the brawl, but keep the Sigma for now. So they're just gonna match the brawl, but instead poke you a bit more because of it.
I feel of any map to any point of this stage to bring out the Reinhardt, I don't think now's the time to do it. Dogefighter, though, is going to biff that Shatter just a little bit, not able to go as low as they wanted to, and Wichita, they just beyond capitalized off the top of it. They came through, they were able to find some great value there, and they found, I think, 2 eliminations. It's going to buy them a little bit of time, but they're going to have to get a couple more to really flip this fight back in there.
I want to say this would be a time to switch over to Winston. Look at the compensation Wichita is playing. The Monkey, the Winston could be really good here, right? Particularly against the Sigma, can isolate a lot of heroes, but the problem is you're building up to the Deadeye and the Blizzard, right? And those heroes really want to play with Reinhardt, so maybe now isn't the change, but it's something to consider.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely something to consider moving forward. Gravitic Flux now coming out from Monkey Ball does not find anything. Instead, TW is the first one to go down, just completely shredded by the University of Tennessee's entire lineup there. Lucky Dog able to find Fluffy, so currently a 6v4 in favor of Tennessee. That's going to get them to keep this ball rolling. Now, the exciting thing is Wichita, they've been stalling for maybe a minute and a half, maybe almost 2 minutes here. It's going to take about another half a minute for that to get across the bridge. So realistically, the fact that they've won even 1 or 2 fights, they're almost going to make this time bank a little less insane for the University of Tennessee, and that could be a huge difference at the end of it.
And Tennessee have a really nice combo online. If they can get a Deadeye off early and then slow the fight down for a Blizzard, this is going to be scary.
Of course. Monkey Ball's going to get frozen up early, and speaking of the devil, nobody touches. Trasherland just punched in the face by that Blizzard there. 2 already done. What the dog doing? What Dogefighter just charging off the map there, following TW's footsteps. Player now is going to be taken offline. Fluffy gets a kill far too late. 5 minutes on the clock right now. Wichita, they're going to have to give us the hold of a lifetime.
To be fair, at least they've got their own Deadeye and then Blizzard combination online. It's not really a combo, it's just a way to slow the team fight down for Blizzard to get maximum value. And there's other ways to do that.
Yeah, High Noon comes out from Fluffy. That buys you, you know, maybe 5 to 10 seconds, but no follow-up comes through, especially on a map like this one with so many corners. This is going to be kind of a perfect scenario. A Blizzard from Player. I'm a little hesitant on it, but you found at least one of the tags. The other one's going to get stuck in the next to Soul's reference. And that's going to be 2 kills. Monkey Ball picking up both of them. A 5-man Earth Shatter from Dogefighter. Unfortunately, just not able to pick up the kills off the back of it. A phenomenal beat drop from Trasherland keeps all 6 players of the team alive. Wichita State, they've burned a minute off the clock. Can they do that 4 more times?
Oh, do you know what? Yeah, I know you said you're hesitant on that Blizzard. I secretly had a smile on my face. I love that Blizzard. When the fight changes from fast to slow, that's when Blizzard's the best, right? So we actually see Tennessee make the fight extremely fast, and then we actually see Wichita slow it down and then use the Blizzard. So the Blizzard was actually really timed. Although it looked bad on paper, like if you look at it like that, Blizzard was awesome there. And it is a shame though that they used that soundbar at the end of the fight. They really didn't need to. They probably want it back.
Yeah, honestly so. They probably do want that Earth Shatter back as well. That's going to be something that they really want to be keeping an eye out on. The ultimate usage, that's the second Earth Shatter from Dogefighter that unfortunately hasn't made the impact they were looking for. Lucky Dog going to be taken out. Oh, what a risky left shift from Doge there, but had it connected, honestly, it would have been insane. That would have been pretty crazy to find that kill. Noodles is going to fall, Dogefighter as well. TW has very much picked up the slack here on this main tank. I don't think they were doing bad at any point in time, but they have gotten notably better here on the second half of Eichenwald.
Whoa, that fight's super important, right? Because Tennessee had an ultimate advantage going into that team fight. Now it's even. Wichita can set up their Blizzard with a Deadeye, they can even do it with a Self-Destruct instead. They're both the support ultimates look pretty even on both sides. Ultimates are even, this could go either way, but when you have to win 2 or 3 team fights in a row, it's not good.
Yeah, definitely not. Lucky Dog finds a kill. Monkey Ball not able to get that counter kill. High Noon into a 6-man
Shatter from TW. Talk about picking up the slack. Lucky Dog gonna eat that blizzard from player. Gonna eat an entire Reinhardt charge there, pushed into the walls. That's the second time we have seen a full man Earth Shatter, and then the team that got it lost the fight.
Do you know what? I actually think that was a really bad Blizzard contrary to the previous one, because you got the Earth Shatter, so you're not engaging the pace of the fight is not going to extremely fast. It's a really easy eat to raid. It's a good eat, but really easy one to raid.
Yeah, absolutely. This is, I mean, 2 minutes is obviously much more survivable than the 5 that once was Wichita State. Every second they can burn this down becomes a crucial statement in the extra rounds. A great flashbang from Fluffy. Gets to keep that teammate alive. Dogefighter falls. A great sign for Wichita State as they've got an unbelievable spawn advantage for the time being. Lucky Dog 305 loses that mech, and they actually got to force just a little bit of a stagger there. That's going to be roughly 30 to 40 seconds off the clock. The time mech for University of Tennessee, if they finish it all, looks like it's going to be under a minute.
Yeah, Wichita have done a great job of cycling their ultimates, and because that fight was so ultimate heavy from both teams, it meant that Tennessee didn't have enough to win the next fight, and they needed to win a couple fights in a row. Now they only really need to win one fight, and they've got Basher's Deadeye too.
Oh, Deadeye does not find a darn toot thing. The Cowboy may be toot ready for shoot, but a shield completely interrupts all of that momentum. You see a bit of a freeze coming through onto Dogefighter, caught out in the back, has an Earth Shatter, might use it. Earth Shatters directly into a May wall. Definitely not something you want to see. It's going to be a lot of damage now coming out from the side of Wichita. They've successfully burnt down this timer to less than a minute. Basher. Okay, a 1-for-1 trade, a DPS falling on both sides. We see TW moving up on the high ground. Hanbei finds Noodles. Wichita might just win the map.
I think they will. They cycled their ultimates beautifully. The Hubs had a Blizzard in behind there. That was the chance for Tennessee to go and win it. They didn't capitalize off of it, and now there's 35 seconds left. Lucky Dog isn't even in their mech. There's still a Deadeye online for Wichita. Tennessee are in trouble. It's been a tight series, but they're at risk of going 2-0 down.
And what a terrifying thought to consider, right? The third map being Hanamura. Again, I hate when series ends on control or when on 2CP because it's boring. 12 seconds left. Oh, that bomb could actually be colossal. No, the pillar! The pillar just ruined that bomb entirely. Wichita State gonna have to get hyper aggressive here. TW, Shatter Biff, caught out by the May wall. Might have to left shift to live. Oh, an amazing beat once again from Crasher. She finds all 5 teammates and herself. Behind it from Basher around the wall. It's gonna be blocked out. TW taken offline. Hanbei, critical condition. Trasherland not far behind. Might be able to live. Tennessee might be able to force extra rounds here in overtime.
Here we go. That's fine, territory. They need to win one more. They did get Monkey Ball lit, but Dogefighter's in trouble. If they kill Dogefighter, Wichita has a small chance to come back into this.
Yeah, Dogefighter though finds Trasherland again. She comes back right into the swing of a Rhinehammer. Player the next to go. TW falls as well. Oh my goodness, Dogefighter
killed everything.
What is up with individual players today just deciding, you know what, I actually want my team to win, and just dropping 3, 4, 5Ks. That's like the 5th or 6th time that's happened tonight.
I mean, it's happened a lot, right? And if we want to kind of like go and try to analyze this game and where we are in IKEA, both these teams opted into the Brawl Mirror, and I think in both rounds, right? And that's extremely interesting to me because, I mean, Brawl Mirrors, they happen on IKEA, but only in unique circumstances when teams feel like they're evenly matched or a little bit better than the other. I think these teams are really close. I do think Wichita edge, and I think the 37-second time gap, right, is probably the gap between these teams, and that's not enough to go and win a series 3-0, realistically. And this is exciting because are the teams going to make adaptations, or are they going to stick with this mirror matchup? I don't know. I think they will because I think both these teams think that they're the better team. Like Wichita edge it. I would like to see Tennessee make a slight alteration, maybe to a Symmetra instead of a Cardboard.
I just made a horrible realization, Ocean, and I don't even want to say it because if I say it, it comes true. But we're in extra rounds. At most, these teams have 97 seconds. It took them both roughly between 3 and 4 minutes to cap point the first time. There's a world that this ends in a draw.
Oh well, it could be a draw.
I don't want it to be a draw. I think draws are so anticlimactic.
I know the teams are probably okay with them because it's better to draw than to lose, obviously. But I almost wish they'd just be like, yeah, we'll lose so the series can continue. Like, we don't mind. But I get it. It's all about winning these. And TW with a very aggressive left shift went for the wall, but wasn't quite able to land the kill there. Great progress, honestly, from Wichita. It looks like they've already burned half the time bank of the University of Tennessee. Very good progress so far.
Team close to that matrix. We'll see which one of them gets it online first. It's probably going to be Parvier, and that probably could decide the fight.
Absolutely. Wow. Wow. Oh my goodness. I have the hiccups. I'm so mad right now. Every time I try to say wow, hiccup. But Doge Fighter is going to find that first kill onto player. Immortality Field gone as well. Hanbei has the Amp Matrix. Here it comes. Wichita, they're getting ready to steamroll in here. A great wall from DeHubs, though, completely interrupting a majority of that Amplification Matrix. Fluffy is going to be able to find Basher as well. The damage has been done. Tennessee, they are here to make a statement. Fluffy caught up on their lonesome, but Paraveer does find that kill off the back of it in the final moment. If they cap, this is no longer drawable, I believe. So we're going to have to see what they bring to the table. Actually, if they stay at 94, it wasn't drawable either. But now, University of Tennessee, they've got these wheels.
Icavolt is actually one of the maps where if you're kind of in an escort section, it is possible to draw if you stop them right as the castle gate is opening. I think they might be going for that sort of engagement. 3, 2, 1. No, it's not drawable anymore.
No, I mean, as long oh no, the door opened. You're right. It's no longer drawable. Okay. Let's get you here. Never mind. I completely forgot about that. They've got all 6 players on cart right now, which is kind of wild. I feel like you don't see that very often. But Fluffy from the heavens, excuse me, no fall damage here in Overwatch. So just drops up, finds a great kill. Doge Fighter's down as well. Great Earth Shatter from TW, and this Blizzard probably can't do enough. The reback kill from Monkey Ball onto Lucky Dog there. Fluffy picks up to Hubs. Blink and you miss it. Overtime comes to a close for the offense of the University of Tennessee. Wichita, their win condition has been set. Can they go just as far, if not further, with those 37 extra seconds?
A lot of it is going to be on if they can win if they win point A at all, can they do it with just an amplification matrix? Because I think you've got a lot of other win conditions. You can create use a self-destruct to create space for potentially some sort of Reinhardt play. You could have, of course, that Deadeye Blizzard sort of combination, but it's just a setup, really. You could have that as a win condition later on. And, of course, you could just have your Cowboy player popping off later on as just a win condition as well. So, if they can win this first point with just an amp matrix, I think Wichita could have this. If not, I think Tennessee probably edge it. Yeah,
absolutely. Wichita, like I said earlier, both these teams struggled a lot with the initial engagement of capping first point here at on Eichenwald, but if Wichita brings the same level of success in the first push that we saw from Tennessee, I think Wichita takes it. But if Wichita loses that first fight, that first engagement, I think we're going to tie the series up 1-1.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting as well, right? Because I think player is actually going to play this Doomfist. Doomfist, we've seen in a variation of Brawl comps that sometimes turn... Oh, no, never mind. They are going to send TP out. Are they going to do the Maywall thing? I think they will. No, they won't.
I would have loved to see it. I would have loved to see it. That would have been awesome. The Maywall TP over the top of the building there. Definitely wouldn't have expected to see it, and I'm sure Tennessee wouldn't either. But here comes Wichita getting hyper-aggressive, going to go toe-to-toe early on here in this engagement. Both Maywalls already making an appearance. Both Immortality Fields already making an appearance as well, taken out at the exact same time there. There's nothing to keep these players alive any longer than they're supposed to be. It's all going to come down to who finds that first elimination.
This is interesting because we now see Tennessee on the Symmetra. Fluffy gets frozen, it's dying!
Oh, that's disastrous. Fluffy falls. Amp Matrix already from Hanbei, though. Might be the exact thing they need to turn this around. 6v3 on point for a moment. Doge Fighter hitting a 4-man Earth Shatter Crash Link. Gonna be the first one to fall. Immortality Field not able to save the Lucio there. There goes Monkey Ball. There goes TW. I think Tennessee's got this one in the bag. They have to survive one more fight. I wish I could stop hiccuping.
Okay, so they make the adaptation over to the Symmetra. You get more burst damage at points. You get the more ability with the teleporter, right? You have a couple more options rotations-wise. The problem is now, look, Tennessee have ultimates. They're going to have a Sound Barrier, potentially a Blizzard, a Deadeye, and an Amp Matrix. This is probably the scariest one to deal with.
Absolutely, and I want to see what kind of engagement Wichita's looking for. We know that University of Tennessee, they use the Shatter, they use the High Neutral, they should have everything else on the table. So Wichita, they're going to be super careful. No ultimates for them.
quite yet to Hugs, bringing out an early Blizzard player. Might have to counter Blizzard. Will. Paraveer finding 2. Fluffy picks up 1, but the damage has been done. Wichita, they're going to fall apart a little bit as a team, losing player after player. And I believe University of Tennessee has done it. I believe they're going to walk away with a victory on Eichenwald.
Yeah, this is gonna be 1-1. This is gonna be an extremely tight series. I have no clue who's gonna win it. I think Wichita, again, kind of in the last series with William Mary, have the higher peak ability, but Tennessee have been super consistent. They seem a little bit more comfortable in the brawl. They're the one that brought out this brawl to force the mirror matchup, and it's gonna work out here on Eichenwald. That's something you don't see every day.
Victory.
Yeah, that is, there were some choices made, truly. That was very interesting. I'm confused kind of a little bit on how Tennessee turned that around, but Paraveer in particular in that final fight made an incredible impact with that Amp Matrix. They came through, they got a lot of damage, they found 2 kills, and oh, this was insane as well. TW just on a one-man army rampage right here, just storming through. I think finds 4 kills in total, just very strong to turn that fight around successfully.
Kind of like go individually, like each role, it's probably quite even. Like if I go through, like I think Trashland is probably the better main support. I think Paraveer is kind of the better flex support. I think TW is kind of the better main tank, and it's probably 3-3. This is as close as it gets, really. Individually, team wise, what compositions they prefer. I think if Wichita get on maps where they can mix it up and they can play some Zenbrig and some Ball, also some different things, then they might be in a better position. But if it's Brawl v Brawl and it's mirror matchups, I think Tennessee are in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to throw it to a super short break. These teams are going to talk about what they want to do next on our 3rd map of the evening, which is, I can't remember. Hanamura, that's the one, Hanamura. So, of course, I can't remember the one that I don't like. That makes sense. You guys go get water, stretch your legs. I'm going to try to get rid of these hiccups, and we'll be right back in just a couple of minutes.
gonna have to level with all of you guys. I cannot get rid of these hiccups. I'm gonna have to live with it. You're all gonna have to live with it. I'm so sorry. I tried everything during the break, and they are not going away. But we're sticking to it. We're rocking and rolling. We're gonna jump into map 3 in just a minute here. Utah State up against the University of Tennessee. Jumping into Hanamura. No matter how this map goes, we've got more Overwatch afterward. We are at least going to Junkertown. We may go as far as Oasis, but we've got to see how Hanamura goes first. Now, Ocean, do you think we're gonna be seeing Symmetras the same way we have up to this point?
Maybe from Wichita. Damn it! WSU. That's what they're called. They've run the Symmetra before when we were in that brawl matchup. They decided to try and opt for the Symmetra variant just to try and shake things up. And, you know, maybe they're the team to bring it out, but Hanamura, kind of favourable for brawl. I do think the ball competitions are slightly better, but they're harder.
Sure.
Honestly, this could just be brawl versus brawl again.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think that's pretty realistic. I think we might see the furthest we might go outside of brawl is we may see an offensive double bubble. That would be a little weird, but we've seen it work already. I wouldn't be surprised if it worked again. Oh my goodness. So we definitely want to see what is kind of going to be that rotation. I think Reinhardt, I'm a little hesitant to say this. I think we're most likely to see Reinhardt. I don't think it's a guarantee, but we may see Rein Diva, Rein Zarya, and then, like I said, double bubble feels realistic as well. In terms of supports, I feel like Baptiste has been a given for a long time. Recently, a lot we've seen Zenyatta's as well, which is not something I feel we see often. But today, here at the EGFC, Zenyatta has just been all over the place.
Zenyatta is now kind of a mainstay, I think. Alright, you kind of have these metas where Baptiste and Ana take over, but Zenyatta, Ana, and Baptiste are honestly all three in really good places. I think the game's in a pretty good spot now. Support-wise, I think Moira is kind of weak, but the rest of the supports are in a pretty good spot. So that's why I think we're seeing a lot of the different support heroes, and that's good for Wichita. I think the more support heroes that get played, that's the better for them. So we actually see Trachulin here on the Atlantic All-Stars Mercy skin, which I gotta respect. And also, this is an Orisa Diva composition of a very pokey composition, very spammy composition that we see a lot on Hanamura defense point A. Definitely you switch off of it on point B, but it's really good against the symmetric TP shot, and it's really good against slower compositions because you don't really run rush in Hanamura because it's not good.
Yeah, rush on Hanamura is nothing you see often, but Basher rocking and rolling with that symmetric, gonna go straight for the point TP. I love it, a great idea. And honestly, the pull from TW there was also very smart. They recognized it was going to be that TP strat. They wanted to pull folks away, maybe try to find an elimination, and it didn't work. Now, poor Monkey Ball gonna get absolutely obliterated there. TW gone as well. Paravir falls. I don't think I like the Pharah here. Now, we saw a pretty good Pharah from Fluffy earlier, and honestly, it's made a positive impact already, right? It's found 2 kills, but Symmetra in particular, especially on closed-off points like this, always feels like a very good Pharah counter. So I think Fluffy's really good.
So Pharah is really good here if you can kind of kill them before they TP, or if you can set up different angles on the point, right? And I feel like Player was kind of always locked on the same angle Fluffy was, and that meant that the Pharah wasn't able to get much value at all, apart from a bit of damage. I think that's what kind of cost WSU there. Tennessee, though, they'll be happy. They'll have a Photon Barrier for the next fight as well. So Sound Barrier 2, they're more critical ultimates. The problem is, like, other than the Photon Barrier, how do they engage? Probably there's the Teleporter. And how do they deal with it with this Barrage? They have an immortality field and they have defense matrix. Probably the only ways they can deal with this Barrage.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Photon Barrier, that would be a very intelligent play to Photon Barrier pre-Barrage, but I don't think that's realistically going to happen, like you said. That's going to be a very, that is like a top level play. That is thinking 10 steps into the future, and being caught in this stairwell is actually so scary with the Barrage online. Fluffy already finds Paravir with the immortality field, I think, made it out. Doge Fighter clips the wings of that Pharah there. Monkey Ball losing them back in the same breath, and University of Tennessee, they have certainly got the numbers.
They got the ball just over time, and I think that's needed right now because they got a kill immediately. And if you have a kill on Assault and you're on the defensive B, you've got a chance of bringing it back. However, this Blizzard might end everything.
Yeah, the Blizzard covers the entirety of the point, right? There's such a small percent, and this feels like Delaware all over again. We are just shy of 5 minutes on the clock. Oh my goodness, and now, whew, what a statement to make. Hanamura, hopefully one of this one way or another.
Saw John Hanamura earlier, so I wouldn't rule it out.
Initiating match.
Yeah, like I said, draws are definitely not
my personal favorite thing about Overwatch. That's why I'm really glad they're kind of removing the 2CP game style map type from Overwatch as a whole, because I think it really pulls away from the competitive edge. Nobody likes to walk away from a draw. And it's this map type is where it's most likely to happen. So I'm definitely excited to see kind of what's brought to the table in the push comp, in particular, the new thing coming out in Overwatch 2. I'm really excited to see what tempo changes that makes. And I'm so sorry, I keep laughing at myself.
You all right?
I don't know. I don't know, man. Between me and Wichita, it's been one heck of a broadcast. But our producer's telling us this has been his favorite broadcast because I can't say more than 10 words without hiccuping, and Ocean can't pronounce Wichita. So it's been a pretty wild ride so far.
Yeah, you know what? I was doing so well. I actually got it right at one point as well on that one. This could be interesting. Looks like both teams defaulting back to the Brawl versus the Brawl. Wichita on the offense going to try the teleporter as well, which is kind of cool. I think they probably would be the one that default away from the Cowboy. I mean, so did Tennessee, to be fair, because Symmetric Teleporter is quite good, quite strong on this map. And that was a nice fire strike, 25% to the ultimate.
So what is that, 25%? They hit 5 people, right? I mean, that's exactly how that needed to go. That is beyond wild. Their Doge already have 70%. There's an Earth Shatter online. Oh my god, a 3-man Earth Shatter. Doge Fighter does get traded out there, but kill the loot. Yo, what was that, a 15-second Earth Shatter? Absolutely amazing from Tanbe. Finds Taravir, Wichita State. My goodness, blink and you miss it. Even getting Earth Shatter 10 seconds into the round, it looks like they're still going to be able to emerge on top of this fight.
I've never seen a team get a 15-second Earth Shatter and then lose the same fight. That is sad.
Absolutely wild in a 15-second Earth Shatter. But now it looks like Wichita, they are slowly but surely turning this around. Perhaps not as fast as Tennessee was able to, but still, I mean, nearly 3 minutes, if not slightly over 3 minutes on the clock. They are burning through this.
Yeah, that's just so upsetting. That was so cool. I got so excited for that. But you know what? Wichita have a right to get excited now. They've got some ultimates of their own. They're going towards point B. They're going to be able to teleport in. They're going to have a photo barrier. This is very reminiscent of Tennessee's situation. They've got really awesome chance to snowball this. Of course, snowballing in Overwatch is when you take 1 point or take a team point and you have opportunity to win the next, just momentum.
Yeah, momentum is what this game is obviously all about. Like Ocean said, snowballing is particularly important on 2CP. It was actually so strong they had to nerf spawn, and they had to buff the spawn timers because people were not spawning fast enough to stop a second point cap right after the first one. Now, a 1-for-1 trade of DPS down on both sides, but Basher just removed by Wichita State. They player there. TW picks up Lucky Dog. Here comes a great pin on the Doge Fighter, and I mean, Wichita might finish with more time than Tennessee. That is absolutely absurd.
It's going to be a very long round of Hanamura, I think. I think that this attack's probably over. The Tracer's going to be able to touch, maybe. And actually, the Bay's going to touch it. The Tracer's going to be able to touch right after that. And some of the time bank is going to be dwindled, at least here for Tennessee.
Ooh, a great Blizzard from the Hubs. This whole fight may actually come close. Fluffy able to find Basher, and that Blizzard may have been enough to turn this around. However, Fluffy, that microwave is on full power and is immediately unplugged there. Lucky Dog is going to find that one bomb kill. University of Tennessee, they have successfully turned the fight around off the shoulders of the Hubs Blizzard.
Yeah, not only the Blizzard from the Hubs, but the fact that they touched the point, because I think Basher was struggling to get a touch on Tracer as well. So, awesome play from the Hubs that single-handedly stops that. And that means they have to come back again, which means the snowball isn't on, but they still have ultimate. So look, Tennessee's ult bank, right? Nothing's about 20%, right? This is not good for them. But they have got time bank lowered, and there is a Sunmire online for the offense as well as a Blizzard, but it's still winnable here for Tennessee.
Yeah, definitely winnable for Tennessee, especially, I mean, I've seen people do exactly what we're doing here. Just 6-minute holds on Hanamura B isn't impossible. It's actually weirdly common. That's another thing about 2CP that people aren't particularly fond of, is how long these defensive holds can be. Obviously, the defense has an insane spawn advantage. They can just stagger time after time, consistently rolling in. However, Wichita, they've already found 3 eliminations. This microwave, once again, has been plugged in. It has gone straight up nuclear here. It's going to be a lot of damage. A bit of a stall attempt coming out from Lucky Dog here. A bomb as well from Monkey Ball is going to clear the point. Now, honestly, Wichita, they've got a notably less time coming through here. Basher is going to fall, but they simply cannot get this cap. University of Tennessee, such a good job staggering one at a time. Now, one player left, just the Moira will finally fall. 1 minute and 32 seconds extra for Tennessee here.
And that's like another well set up team fight on point B, a couple of extra team fights on point A, really. So That minute 32 is actually going to matter on a map like Hanamura. I'm just talking about the way this game works. Is if you kind of lose that first team fight offensively and you lose your ultimate advantage, it can snowball the other way, right? Snowballs just don't happen offensively, they can happen defensively as well, because you build up your ultimates, you've got better respawns, your opponents have to walk all the way over there, they could get caught in rotation. Snowballs, unnecessarily, the reason it's called a snowball, right, is because you roll a snowball around a hill, it picks up speed, and actually picks up more snow, I guess, technically. And that's how the momentum of the snowball kind of gets its name. So, they could happen defensively as well. And I honestly don't know how they kind of screwed up Assault that much to where snowballs are so unfun. Because another very snowballing map in this game is King's Row. And it is one of the best maps in the game. Like full stop. You can get some really awesome defensive momentum on King's Row and offensive momentum on King's Row. Why is it more fun? Probably because of the map design and the game mode, realistically. Because you have to travel a lot in Hanamura, even more Sky and Omega. You have to travel a lot to set up team fights. And I think it's the time bank as well that kind of makes it a little bit less fun. Just more space in between fights.
Yeah. The more space between fights is definitely something that 2CP kind of lends itself to a little more aggressively than other map types as well. Or perhaps a little bit less, depending on the speed at which these teams move. We see the Lucios coming out on both sides. And almost a mirror matchup, Fluffy on the Symmetra, and then Basher, of course, on the Cowboys. So it's going to be kind of that individual DPS lineup. I want to see the progress those individual players make in terms of eliminations. Lucky Dog, wow, that was really loud, I'm so sorry. Lucky Dog now is going to be able to find a TW, so the main tank gone from Wichita. And Wichita having the smaller time bank, they really wanted to win this fight. First, they wanted to win this fight without kind of a second thought, so they could push on a second point, but perhaps they get held right here.
I mean, that's a really important team fight win. You had to wonder why they kind of changed the symmetric teleporter approach. They tried to do something close to the point. I mean, maybe you actually could just teleport high ground and give yourself more options later on, maybe more targets to engage on. Honbei, that's the player we're going to watch out for. Has the amplification matrix a little bit before power. They're both going to have it around the same time now. So just watch both Baptistes. That's what we're going to highlight. Who gets more value out of this amp matrix?
Yeah, the amp matrix is definitely going to be making a world of difference here. Honbei has one, like you said, as well. So we want to look at not only who he uses it first, but of course which team finds more value. Now they use them in tandem, almost the exact same breath or exact same hiccup if you're me. It's going to be Honbei who falls as well. Oh, and TW going for a tactical reset, I guess. Really trying to find as many players on Doge Fighter, getting angry against Trashulin there, trying to find that final kill. 23 seconds left, and if Wichita loses this, if they don't win in this next engagement, I think this could possibly end in a draw as well.
They're in trouble because, they have to walk in really fast, and as soon as they walk in and actually engage, the team fight's going to slow down, and Dubs has a Blizzard, and that's when Blizzard is at its best.
Oh, and that Blizzard going to cover almost the entirety of the point. Not much Wichita can do on engagement. It does come to a close without a single death. In Earth Shatter now from TW finds 2 the bomb. Not able to find anything yet. The B drop from Noodles is going to be just enough to give the University of Tennessee that leg up if they're able to find it. Doge with the insult to injury player. Oh, okay. I was like, maybe the one-man May show might be able to find something, but no. Unfortunately, even though 4 players were frozen, nobody was around to touch point, and now the University of Tennessee, they have successfully held their own on Hanamura. They just need to cap 33% of the first point.
I don't want to go back to things, but do you remember the first series of the day? What happened in Hanamura?
No.
Initiating. No, it's been a long day. I don't remember the first series of the day.
Do you remember William and Mary were in a really good opportunity to
oh, yes.
Point A? Do you remember what their time back was?
It was like 5 minutes, wasn't it? Something insane.
For point A, it was 3 minutes 32 seconds.
Wow, I was a little bit off there, only by about 90 seconds. But
well, I just want to point out that
it was a lot.
We're at 3 minutes 32 seconds.
Oh, wait, I get it. That's actually kind of insane.
We're at 3 minutes 32 seconds again, and the last time that happened, it was a draw.
I have faith. I'm not rooting for either of these teams. As a caster, it is our job to remain unbiased, at least while we're on screen. But I think realistically, these teams have been so neck and neck. At the beginning of the broadcast, I joked, last time or the first time I saw Tennessee, they took us all the way to a map 6, and the progress that we've seen so far from them is realistically a draw is not out of the cards. It is not impossible.
Yeah. All right. let's have a look what happens here. Tennessee, they look better on the Brawl matchups. I think as soon as we went to Brawl versus Brawl, Tennessee look a little more comfortable. They're the team that brought out Brawl first on Ikeval. With Wichita, you know, they're also pretty evenly matched. Probably like, oh, you want to take the mirror. We want to match up with this team on the Brawl competition. That's fair enough. But Tennessee have been getting the better of it so far. Let's see if that trend continues here in the last round of Panamara.
I love the wall there, but Hubs, what was that, 39, 29 HP? Like, really lucky they didn't fall there. Losing the Mei would have immediately kind of disrupted the plan that University of Tennessee has. The teleporter destroyed before anybody gets a chance to...
Sure.
Oh, excuse me, Basher made it through, but nobody else. So now the Symmetra taken offline. Nobody to really contest this D.Va. Monkey Ball going after the high ground behind them, getting a lot of value off these rockets, honestly. Just a great look so far. Yeah, pushing Tennessee. Doge Fighter gonna fall into critical condition here. Immortality Field has to be used to keep that Reinhardt alive. The swinging will continue. Another TP. This one from Fluffy on a Symmetra of their own. A bit of a weak one. Fluffy, though, dives right in, finds a kill. Parvier falls as well. Basher picks up player, but the damage has been done. Tennessee, they've got to give up this fight. 2 minutes and 30 seconds remain.
Oh, yeah, and that's a late kill onto the Hubs. Right, that's about a minute of their time gone. They're going to have a teleporter set up, so they're going to make this a long fight no matter what, right? Whatever happens. And I think actually something for Tennessee is they're actually a little bit behind on ultimates. And I think what's going to happen here is Wichita State are going to be forced to use their ultimates and the site of the next one, and then Tennessee will have ultimates for the next one. It's setting up pretty well for Tennessee, but they just got to execute it perfectly.
That execution is, of course, what this is all going to be about. Photon barrier right in the middle of the point there from Fluffy, giving Wichita a very slight advantage. Some value coming through. The hammer is going to come from Doge, finds 5 of the 6. However, Monkey Ball immediately finds that trade kill. Lucky eats the Blizzard in the same breath to Hubs, able to find 1. This is really looking like it's going to be Tennessee fight to take. Monkey Ball picks up Basher. Now it's going to come down to player and what they can bring to the table in order to keep this team out. I think Wichita still slightly has the numbers advantage. If I'm not mistaken, player goes down. So now I'm pretty sure that they have it. It's going to be a lot of great value so far. It's going to be all about what can be done. I think the University of Tennessee has Hanamura in the bag. The Hubs brings out the Blizzard there. It's going to be a great shot now. University of Tennessee, they put themselves on match point.
Yeah, and you know what? I think this is coming... Wichita will now be slowly coming to the realization that they are not the better Brawl team. I think Tennessee are definitely the better Brawl team, right? I think that's pretty clear to see.
I don't know if it's definitely the better Brawl team. I think Doge Fighter's the better Reinhardt. I think it really comes down to that.
I think that's definitely a fair call as well, right? But I feel like a lot of Brawl is also with your Reinhardt. I think maybe Doge Fighter being the better Reinhardt is leading to them being the better Brawl team, if you want to phrase it like that instead. I think that's actually a better way to do it, so sure. Nice input on that, right? Thankfully for Wichita, though, Junkertine's next. And if we see Ryan v Ryan on Junkertine, these teams are like they're telling each other to run the Brawl Mirror, right? There's no way we see a Brawl Mirror on Junkertine, and I honestly think that Wichita will like this a lot more because they tend to prefer spammier compositions. We are probably going to see some spam. Right, it's Junkertine, surely. I also hope we saw an awesome Widowmaker drill earlier. Hope we get to see that.
Yeah, I hope so as well. I don't remember any of these players being like a Widow expert, so to speak. So I want to see if that's going to be like a thing we see, a little bit more hit scan. I think we saw an Ashe earlier today. I don't remember if that was this series. But I think we're definitely going to see a lot more hit scan coming through. I don't know if we're throwing it to a short break, Prod, question mark? Are we? Okay, yeah, no, we're not doing any breaks. So we're going to see Plank being subbed in for Basher. So already that makes me think we're going to see a Widowmaker, right? To swap out a DPS going into a map like Junkertown, that tells me expect a hit scan.
Your hit scan player as well,
yeah,
so that tells you your Plank specific hit scan.
Or maybe a Hanzo. Maybe a Hanzo.
Maybe you can see Hanzo as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Hanzo or the other DPS from Tennessee, obviously. So that's the Dabobs, whatever they're called. Yeah, Dabobs. We can see that from them. I think they'll feel like they're more than capable of playing a Hanzo. And yeah, so we're probably going to see Widowmaker here from Plank. And you know what? This is, especially point a very massively oriented Widowmaker map. The sightlines are huge. They definitely playtested Widowmaker on this map. I'm like, hey, this is fun. You know what? And then didn't playtest any other hero.
Yeah.
Right? Widowmaker is so good on this first point, so this Widowmaker duel is going to be so important on point A.
Yeah, this is going to be... I mean, this is quite literally kind of the last breath, the last opportunity for Wichita to stay in the series. University of Tennessee, they're going to look to take this in a 3-1 fashion. Wichita, they want to keep things tied up. They want to keep it as aggressive as possible. And yeah, not the least bit surprised that Plank is playing the Widowmaker. And I also want to talk about, now that we finally have a moment to discuss this, right at the beginning of the broadcast, I mentioned Fluffy but Deadly in the DPS role. We learned from production that Fluffy is there because Wichita didn't get enough DPS tryouts. So that, to me, almost is like a handicap to the team, right? Because Fluffy but Deadly, I would say like a top 5 Reinhardt in the EGFC. One of the strongest main tanks in the league, now stuck in a DPS role. Like, that obviously is going to hurt the team momentum.
What's interesting here is Fluffy going to be comfortable taking this Widowmaker duel? I think they set up substitution, so they know they have to take the Widowmaker duel. Obviously, they're their captain, they have to go and take this duel.
Right.
So are they going to opt to try and win the duel, or just get as much value as possible out of the duel? That's my question.
Yeah, this is going to be, I mean, Plank already almost took Fluffy's head clean off. We saw Fluffy dropping to, what, 30-40%, or not percent, 30-40 health coming out. It's going to be very difficult to think, you know, a Reinhardt, one of the few characters in the game you don't really have to know how to aim with, right? You just swing a big hammer, swapping onto the character who arguably requires the most aim in the game. This is going to be really difficult, going from a once Ryan one trick to now a DPS playing Widowmaker on Junkertown. And this is going to be a serious crapshoot here, but Fluffy does find the kill onto Paravir. This is going to be a good look. Plank v Fluffy. Fluffy at 66 HP, but Plank falls to player. So the Hanzo going to step in, make a huge difference here.
This is what player has to do. He has to help out in the Widowmaker versus Widowmaker role by taking duels with Plank. I think that they kind of have to forgo a little bit of damage, and I think they'll be fine with that if they can win a Widowmaker duel, because Fluffy gets a little bit of assistance from player. And Fluffy pops off as soon as Plank is gone. I think that's what the 2 DPS on Wichita have to do, which now means the hubs has to get involved.
Yeah, and it's interesting. We're almost seeing like Hanzo v Widow on both sides. It's really kind of, the Widows at the beginning were looking at each other, but then they've kind of stopped. I feel we're watching Plank v player, the hubs v Fluffy here. So I really want to see these DPS. I feel like the comps we're running really comes down to the eliminations the DPS find. The hubs will be the one to pick up that elimination onto player in the blink of an eye there. Wichita State looking pretty good. Wow, actually, what a great shot from Fluffy, looking for a second one to Hubs. The long distance arrow, able to find that kill. Doge Fighter takes out TW as well. Wichita State, a 4-man Gravitic Flux, no Immortality Field in sight. Hanbei falls, Trasherlin falls as well. University of Tennessee, it looks like they've got this first point tap in the bag.
Yeah, and you know what? Both the DPS on Wichita and Tennessee are well and truly up for this, aren't they? Right? They are going at it. And honestly, the tank to play, like, can you shoot the shield a little bit more, right? This is getting a little bit boring, this double shield versus double shield. But honestly, I prefer this. It's Junkertown. We don't get to see many maps where the DPS are the deciding factors, and this is most definitely one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Fluffy again wins the Widow duel. A bit of a body shot then, but that's okay. I'm not good at Widowmaker. I can't. I'm sure Fluffy would dunk on me any day of the week in a Widow 1v1. So definitely holding their own in this DPS slot. Like you said, you know, the captain really showing the team we've got to do to win this in Wichita. They're a team, I have seen them crawl back from the depths of absolute defeat. So I would not be surprised to see them turn Junkertown around, force us all the way to that map 5, all the way to Oasis. Plank finds Monkey Ball, no secrets up. I believe both infra sites currently available. Plank misses that shot onto Fluffy, who just makes it out of the line of sight. 153 HP. Plank falls to Trasherlin there, so the Widowmaker gone. It's going to be an absolute field day for Fluffy here.
You know what's really cool? Trasherlin has showcased the force support and the Zen. So the main support player is going over to a flex support because Hanbei has been good on the Baptiste series and they don't want to disrupt that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've got to say, Trasherlin so far has been, I feel like we haven't been saying the name much, but they've been doing an amazing job up to this point. Playing any support that's needed, these Discords have been phenomenal. Everything that we've seen across the board has just been very good, and I believe Trasherlin, she is a new addition to Wichita's roster, and so far, I've got nothing but positive things to say about this support.
Play so many compositions because your main support player is so flexible. The fact that your main support right now is playing as Zenyatta
and tearing it up.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome.
Like, not only just playing as Zenyatta, but doing it well. Gravitic Flux there was a little bit clunky, but it bought a little bit of time there. 2 eliminations now in favor of Tennessee. Turns into 2.5. Its Immortality Field is gone, and UTK, they are just
pushing in, trying to find these eliminations. Blank picks up Fluffy, and I believe that's a technical almost team kill. I believe 6 players have died. A couple have respawned in the supports. They're fighting with their absolute lives here, coming through. Transcendence committed, and it looks like Trashland not going to live to tell the tale much longer. TW falls. Trashland somehow still alive. Immortality from Hanbei trying to keep the team alive. Trashland actually picks up the counter kill on the par of your will fall to the melee from Lucky Dog. Blank finds Hanbei. This is very good so far. Eagles finds Monkey Ball. The Hubs falls to Fluffy, the sole survivor, the cowboy, but no. Fluffy will fall as well. 3 minutes and 19 on the clock for UTK.
This has been an almost perfect mirror matchup of Double Shield. Yeah, I kind of think Tennessee were the better Brawl team, but this looks completely even. I can't tell who the better Double Shield poke team is. I feel like the individual parts of Tennessee might be better, but I feel like the coordination this time around from Wichita looks a lot better from this end of things, right? I feel like that might be because they're used to playing then comes a little bit.
Yeah, that very well could be it. Now the Dragon's coming out early there from players, going to open a lot of space, and Lucky Dog gets accretion out, a phenomenal accretion there from Monkey Ball, really keeping the fight open, but unfortunately you stopped one ult, you weren't able to stop just the pure raw damage coming through from the team. Looks like, yeah, that is a complete and total team kill, I believe. Just didn't happen fast enough for Athena to let us know.
And you know what, right? Like, Doge Fighter's got a supercharger here, or Transcendence, or a power here. This could turn into a snowball right to the end of the map if these from Tennessee are used properly.
Absolutely, as long as... And that actually reminds me, last time we saw Junkertown, I believe that's kind of what happened as well. The team that ended up winning it, it was just raw ultimate rotations. It was super intelligent, super great. Now Doge Fighter's supercharger, she doesn't even finish the voice line before that thing is taken offline. Just absolutely obliterated there. This is going to be one ultimate down the drain. Transcendence is available. Of course, it doesn't do any damage. Wichita State, they've got a supercharger of their own. They've got an Amp Matrix as well, and by the time those two are gone, they should have a couple more in their pocket. Tennessee, after this Transcendence, it's going to be at least a minute until another ultimate makes an appearance.
Oz gets a really important kill. This can set Tennessee right to the end of the map.
The Hubs just decided that they were bored with Junkertown. They want to wrap this up, put a nice little, neat little bow on top. Very strong look from the Hubs on Hanzo here.
Yeah, University of Tennessee comes all 3 points of Junkertown. 1 minute 32 left on the clock. That's a pretty good banker there.
I love that little Pachamari with the crown. I think he's so cute. Every time I'm on the payload, I'm just looking at him, and that's probably why I get headshot like 9 out of 10 times. But distracting. Look at him. He's a guy. I like him. But, you know, this is going to be interesting because I feel... How do I say this? I don't want to talk poorly of Wichita. I think they're doing a very good job. But I feel Fluffy gets more value not on Widowmaker. Did a good job on the first point, really found some great value. Toward the middle of the second point, the Widow started to crumble a little bit, and then we just weren't able to see kind of the climb back up until the end of that first round. So maybe it starts off strong here. You go for what I always call the King's Row, but you pick Widow, as soon as spawn doors open, you look peek. If you don't find it, you swap. But I think Fluffy might find more value on a different DPS.
Go for the Widowmaker on A because I think you have to.
Sure.
If your opponents are playing Widowmaker. But after that, I think there's an option here. So when the Overwatch League was in the Countdown Cup, they had hero bans and there was no Ashe. And this was also in Korean Contenders. I had a team in Korean Contenders, and teams found a very suitable substitute for Ashe Tracer. Instead of that, they were playing Hanzo Tracer. And they're running it with a lot of these Arista compositions. That could be something they try. They could try Fluffy on the Tracer and Player on the Hanzo, or the other way around. And that might be something they're a little bit more comfortable with for point B onwards.
Absolutely, this is going to be quite the task here for Wichita State. They're going to be swapping onto the Ashe, so Fluffy, even though there's a stream delay, it feels like they heard, right? Able to swap onto something else, maybe get a little bit more value. Plank drops down to 31 HP, misses the shot on a player, allowing player to get into the back line a little bit, and that makes me think that Plank may get one-tapped here in just a second, but no, instead, it's going to be the Baptiste Noodles. Okay, there is the one-tap. I wasn't crazy. Able to find Plank straight away. Noodles almost falling as well. Does recruit efficiently enough to keep the team alive. Doge Fighter trying to be the hero, going to be able to find player as well. A great Dynamite, able to find a little bit of damage, I believe, on Explosion, but nobody's going to get long-term burnt up here. Fluffy in the back line, missing some crucial shots on the support line. This is going to be important to find that elimination. TW picks up something, but Fluffy does find Doge Fighter. To be fair, her head hitbox is the size of a bus. Orisa, notorious for being easy to headshot. Now, 3 minutes left in Wichita. They aren't quite able to keep the cart moving as fast as we saw earlier.
The Mercy variant of this poke composition without the Sigma, and maybe, like, I'm not sure why. I think maybe they're giving too many resources to Fluffy. But maybe it's going to work out. Fluffy's just got a critical kill on the Paravir.
Yeah, and Plank goes for that shot onto Fluffy again. I know a lot of the times these DPS players will get into a little bit too much of the deathmatch mindset where they're kind of looking at these DPS 1v1s. We see that a lot with Widowmakers, so maybe Plank should be lending those shots a little bit more often to the supports. Maybe not be so worried about Fluffy, especially because it's like the Hubs has Fluffy kind of on lock. We've seen that so far. And of course, playing the Ashe v Widow, shot one to die if you're the Ashe, right? If you're the Widow, you gotta get shot at least twice or 3 times, depending on the damage boost and of course location of the shots. Now, player also falls to Paravir. University of Tennessee, their positioning has been good. They've got good ultimates moving into this next engagement. This is becoming harder and harder for Jita, especially with the clock being against them.
TW's really struggling to get value on this Wrecking Ball. They feel like they have to go after the Widowmaker, but they really should be disrupting the tanks and letting the Tracer, letting Player dealing with the Widowmaker. Player's been after this Widowmaker not so much time. What's going on here?
The Hubs dedicating an entire Storm Arrow, and I think TW managed to dodge every single one. So a very weird interaction from those two there, but it looks like things are finally ending up in favor of Wichita. The Widowmaker did fall. She's already on her way back. A stick comes through. TW has already fallen. We're looking at a 5v4 as player falls to Paravir. Was not able to make it to the Mega in time. Here comes the Hubs with a Dragon from behind. Fluffy's Ashe, or Bob already gone. Paravir the next to go. 2 Omnics are going to be biting the bullet on that one. 80 seconds left on the clock. Wichita, they've got a couple of ultimates as Valkyrie comes to a close. They've got just the minefield. This is going to have to be the minefield of a lifetime. Now they do cap first point. 3 minutes and 42 seconds left. If capping first was that hard, I think capping second is going to be even harder.
Yeah, I think though, realistically, like the Ashe has a little bit more value on second than Widowmaker does. The problem is Ashe versus Widowmaker is not a very high matchup as you were talking about earlier. Like that. Yeah, there we go. Thank you. Thanks for Plank.
Yeah, Plank is going to be able to take Fluffy offline once again. Player 25 HP in a very unfortunate spot, but approaching that Mega here, so probably going to get healed right back up. 5 on the high ground, and of course, like I mentioned earlier, any first-person shooter, high ground is essentially crucial. It just gives your team such a natural advantage here. TWE going to be going into the minefield a little too early, not able to get that same damage they want, but Fluffy with some great follow-up off the top of it.
In fact, Player was in the back one that really helped that minefield engagement and able to get a lot of damage from behind in some different angles. Cool. That's probably the first time we've seen Wichita actually manage to get some nice off-angle plays.
Yeah, and Hub's going to be able to pick up TW. I think off angles is really what perhaps a couple of these DPS should be focusing on a little, right? Going for those unrealistic expectations. Sometimes that works out better than people think, and that's actually going to be huge here. TW forcing Transcendence there, desperate to stay alive. That's going to be some good progress coming through the bomb now from Monkey Ball. Is going to be able to not pick up anything, instead bites the bullet, or bites the dragon, I guess, bit by the dragon. Balls, Fluffy also taken offline. Wichita crazy close to capping the second point, but I think Tennessee, they have just turned this back in their favor. TW finds Paravir. Doge Fighter, though, does pick up TW off the back of it, and the Swan advantage so aggressively in favor of UTK.
Yeah, it is, and honestly, I don't know why the DPS aren't taking off angles a lot more, because it's not like they're not running off tanks that can't get them into that sort of space, right? You got Sigma who can take you off to an off angle and have a little bit of fun, and also benefits from the off angle themselves. The Diva as well, who can take a Zenyatta on an off angle, for example, and also get benefit themselves every set off angle. So that's something these teams I think should work into their games a little bit more. But honestly, both these teams have a really good, strong understanding, or at least base understanding of these comps that they're playing. And I just want to see them develop over the course of the season. I don't want them to rush anything, because otherwise they might lose some of those fundamentals.
Wichita State, they've got, I feel, probably the 2 least impactful ultimates they could have right now. They get a kill with the pulse bomb. Player is able to pick up the Hubs, but they need to get more than that, and TW is going to do exactly what I asked. About a double pile driver kill, which is so funny because earlier today I was talking about how pile driver is not notorious for finding elimination. 60 seconds left on the clock, will turn into 2.5 minutes. Now, statistically speaking, Fluffy but Deadly is going to be in a better position here with this Bob, but I still don't think Wichita's got the opportunity to turn this fight around.
Yeah, Fluffy looking for the kill. I think realistically, Fluffy, like it was a DPS player, they probably hit those shots, but Fluffy is doing a job for their team. They've focused on whatever DPS they've needed, and I have to respect that from a captain. I think that's awesome.
Ocean, do you ever sit on your mute button in the middle of a broadcast? Is that just a me thing? Or is that, you know, I do that all the time. But I am hopefully back. I think I've unmuted myself. Anywho, jumping back into the swing of it, we've got 3 ultimates here for the University of Tennessee, and that Bob still hanging out for Fluffy. Now, my personal biggest pet peeve for a lot of DPS players is holding onto these ultimates a little bit too long. Getting even 1 kill, buying your team even 10 meters, 5 meters makes that ultimate worth it, especially in scenarios like this one. I think just committing Bob would be huge here. And there we go. As I say, Fluffy's going to do just that. Oh, no. Oh. Okay, well, I'm twice as glad Bob made an appearance now because he's currently the 6th man until player gets back into this fight. It's going to be a minute, just a little bit over Wichita. They keep these wheels moving, but if Tennessee is going to turn this into a full hold, it's going to be right here, right now.
I think they are. I think that's actually the critical moment. Player dying to their own post, but I think that might have cost them this map and essentially this series. I mean, they're gonna have both support ultimates for the next fight, and of course the self-destruct. That's awesome. But they could have capped right now. I think they would have capped if that doesn't happen. I know, like, yeah, it's 1 player and. It's hard to say, but I really think they would have capped there. And then they've given up the Valkyrie to go for the break. And I kind of like this because it means they can get more value out of their DPS, maybe get a pulse. But also, you lose their Valkyrie. The Valkyrie's such a good ultimate.
And I've got to say, I like it, but not when there's 30 seconds left on the clock. I think that's a swap that needed to happen as soon as they capped 2nd point, because at this point, Trasherlin would then have a rally ready, and that would, of course, make a world of difference. Now, a bomb into the backline from Monkey Ball doesn't pick up much. Lucky Dog has to go for a bomb of their own, but unfortunately doesn't find anything either. A 1-for-1 trade, the Baptiste v Tracer. Here comes a double kill from Plank, that Cowboy making all the difference. Hanbei has the right attitude, but just a little bit late on that trend. However, High Noon have killed anyway.
This is winnable.
It's the kill ability. Currently in a winnable position for Wichita. TW finds 2 kills here. Hanbei picking up that D-Mech as well. This is a now or never moment. This Swan song not yet to be sung. This is the 11th hour for Wichita State to win the first series of the season. They are at 99.99 meters. They're just shy of 2 meters away from forcing overtime. This is going to be difficult here to Hugs. Gets to bounce away. 3 kills in favor of Wichita. But here comes some Dragons right through the cart. That can make a world of difference. Plank able to pick up player. Fluffy is going to find those helix onto the hub. Plank desperate to find something, but instead finds death at the hands of Ball in that Diva form. And they have done it. Wichita, they have forced extra rounds here on Junkertown. 1 minute left on the clock.
That was absolutely epic from TW and Hanbei. There's a Yacht and the Wrecking Ball. They were alone for a little bit there. Absolutely awesome. Discord orbs were absolutely flawless. TW did excellent to engage on those targets and get those kills, secure those kills. Also, I know we've mentioned Trasherlin a lot recently, just because we can see that, you know, Mid's having impact here, but they built a rally in that last fight.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty cool. We got to mention it. Additionally, I want to give a shout out to Plank. You know, it's probably quite hard to come into a series when you're ahead. Knowing, if I make a mistake here, I'm the player that gets singled out. Instead of, we're behind, I'm the player that can come and make a difference, that sort of thing, right? And Plank, has actually been quite sold on the hit scanning this map, and has definitely shown why they come into play. Junkertown, their Widowmaker was sold, their Cowboy has been pretty good as well. This map, this series cannot get any closer.
It really cannot. I mean, this has just been absolutely absurd. We've seen some great value from both teams. Like you said, Plank coming through is going to be a difference maker, of course. And I think Plank has done just that. We've seen some very impressive DPS gameplay up to this point. Fluffy has really been holding their own. Swapping from main tank to hit scan DPS is probably as far apart as you can go. Those are arguably the antithesis of one another. So it's going to be Wichita State. I mean, they've got all their marbles on the table right here, right now.
It's going to be interesting. They're going to stick with the Ashe. And Plank isn't on the Widowmaker here, so you could argue that this actually favors Wichita. They can get some early value from this Ashe. This could be really good for them.
Yeah, this could be very, very good. Fluffy as well, farming a Bob early could guarantee an early first cap, and of course that would buy them the additional kind of safety net of trying to win Junkertown. But University of Tennessee, I feel like they've really been a consistently stronger team here on Junkertown, where Wichita, they have had a couple of good fights here and there, but overall, University of Tennessee, they feel a little more consistent, so to speak. So I want to see if they're going to be able to hold. I mean, there's already 15 seconds on the clock. Realistically, if Wichita does anything, they're going to be doing it in the extra time, and losing TW with 10 seconds on the clock is not a great way to start this fight.
They get Monkey Ball because I feel like TW comes back kind of shortly. If they can solve reset here, this is winnable, but they also can deal with Noodles' Nut Matrix.
Yeah, the Matrix coming out. Monkey Ball gonna lose that mech. This is gonna be insanely unfortunate. No, I thought that was it. Player touches, but I think gives their life to do so. Transcendence from Hanbei already is gonna be wild. Oh! Fluffy making the hit scan worth it. Putting in the work. The Hubs, though, never mind. Rips apart any hope and dream. Wichita had it moving this card any further. A triple, make it a quadruple kill. The Hubs picking up the 5 teammates they have and just single-handedly ripping this chance away from Wichita State with a 5-player kill streak right there.
I think Trashly done 99 develop and Fluffy done 99 develop. I think that's what I saw. Like,
Trashly was definitely close.
I think that is actually kind of what twisted that around, but the Hubs, just as a player, also twisted that around. 4 kills, let's not mistake that. That's no luck. That is just insane from the Hansa player of Tennessee. And realistically, if they go on and win this map and win the series because of it, they're the most valuable player in this series just because of that. They won them this series, they won them this map. However, it's not over yet. Wichita, they have some options. They could go to the spawn, just slow things down and try and get 2 fights. Or they could do what's been done the entirety of this map and just take one massive fight, kind of where Tennessee did, and just hope they win more team fights. I think I like the idea of just winning more team fights instead of taking 2 team fights. But the option's there. To slow things down now, Tennessee. One more map and they win this series. Wichita, if they win this, they actually won our first control map, if you remember back to Busan. So if they win this, we go back to control, a map type that they were better at, they would have a good chance to win this series.
Yeah, this is all the cards are on the table right here, right now. And University of Tennessee, they're gonna what a lot of people like to call pulled pork. I like to call it the 3 PS because Roadhog really. Oh, just kidding. I was gonna say Roadhog really fills in the position of a 3rd DPS. I think it would have made sense to run that, but no, they are gonna go for that classic double shield, the Orisa Sigma flank on the McCree. So no Widowmaker in sight once again. Double Hanzo. The Hubs after a play like that. Why would you play anything else? WSU, they need to find this next elimination. If they lose a player first, I'm confident to say the series is over.
And there you go, players throwing in the Homes duel as well to Hubs. Coming up clutch again.
No one's on card, so I think they're going for like a full team wipe, right? Like they're trying to get all 6 and then move the cart. But now with how long it's been since the player died, player can get there to stall until the other 5 return. So having nobody on cart right now actually feels like a pretty big mistake.
Well, I think the other thing is they lost their Baptiste when they made the aggressive rotation, right?
Right.
If they didn't lose anyone and won the fight, they could definitely verify it, and I would have actually been happier that they left cart, but they didn't, and now Fluffy is closer to this ball.
Yeah, that Bob could make a world of difference unless nobody touches. Okay, yeah, 0.8 meters. Hanbei picks up the first kill onto flank, so a great start once again for Wichita. Okay, even better, half the team down the train, and I can feel that pure passion from Ocean just a moment ago when he could only scream touch. I truly felt that, but Wichita, they touch at the last possible moment. They've burned this time bank down from 153 seconds to 72. There's a good chance Wichita can actually win this. They just need to play their...
The problem is they're nowhere near Transcendence, and look, the Hubs is going to have that online. I mean, good thing is Fluffy's got a Bob, and that can buy them a lot of time, a lot of space. All eyes on this Bob from Fluffy, all eyes on this Dragon Strike from the Hubs.
Oh, here comes that Bob, so the 7th player now available for Wichita. The Bongo at the ready as well. Parkier, that Transcendence was there. Trashland does not quite have hers yet. The Bob already down. Fluffy the next to go. Supercharger has to be forced out. Flank falls to Monkey Ball. Those Dragons, are they going to make a world of difference all over again? Player with some Dragons of their own. The Gravitic Flux going to be able to pick up a couple. Player finds one, gets traded out by Lucky Dog here. In the Gravitic Flux, it's going to be TW, who's then traded out. Parkier finds Trashland, and I think it is over. Wichita State University, the University of Tennessee, wins the series 3-1 on Junkertown.
Wow, well, that was a great series. We had an awesome series earlier that went to 6 maps between William and Mary, and I'm going to have to go back to Connecticut. That was an awesome series, right? And this was also an extremely... We had some good matches tonight.
Yes.
I think Wichita State and William and Mary both had actually higher peaks than Tennessee and William and Mary did. The problem is... Sorry, Tennessee and Connecticut did. The problem is the consistency both Connecticut earlier in the day and Tennessee right now, that was a higher level of consistency than Connecticut showed, is awesome, right? I think that's going to be important this season. You can have as many high peaks as you want. I mean, maybe in playoffs, it might be more important to have those higher peaks and those higher moments. But right now, in the regular season, I think you need better consistency. So that's something Wichita can go back, work on. But to be fair, I'm not worried about them this season. I think they'll do really well. They've got a very versatile main support. They've got a very versatile team. They've got some very strong leaders in that team. They'll be fine this season. Just to prove their consistency and just, honestly, just get a little bit more out of those Zen breakdowns and maybe use them a bit more, and they'll actually look a lot better.
Right, absolutely. And folks, that does bring Ocean's time here tonight to a close, which is great because he is in Ireland, so he is many hours in the future ahead. The rest of us, so Ocean, go ahead and get some sleep. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to throw it to about an 8 to 10 minute break. We'll be right back with some more Overwatch action in just a couple of minutes. We'll see you guys then.